Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha, Kwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to be going into the book of Zechariah, the 5th chapter, just continuing from where we left off in the 4th chapter. And so in Zechariah, the 5th chapter, we are, Zechariah is still, seeing this vision, in which, he had saw Joshua the high priest with the filthy garments. He saw Zerubbabel and, the different things concerning the finishing of the temple and the proclamation of Yahushai and so on and so forth. Okay, now we're in Zechariah, the 5th chapter. And just as a high level overview in this chapter, the first quarter really deals with the judgment that's to come by way of the Lord's return and the chariots. And then later on, as we go through, it mainly just, it's not a long chapter, but it deals with the iniquity or the wickedness of Israel. Okay, so let's get into it. This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 5, verse 1, the flying scroll. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. So as Zechariah is still seeing this vision, now he turns, he looks around, and he sees this flying roll. Okay, so when you go into the word roll here, it's really a scroll, right? And that's what it looked like to Zechariah, right? Magalah, and it says here, roll, book, writing. Okay, and back then, what they wrote on were scrolls. So something like this. Okay, like a scroll. And today, there have been some chariot sightings like that. They would refer to it as like a cigar-shaped UFO, or at least they call it now UAP. And that's what this flying roll that Zechariah saw was in this vision. It was really a so-called UFO, but as they are known in the scriptures as the chariots of God. And those are the vehicles in which the angels travel in. And he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof is 10 cubits. Then said he unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For every one that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it, and every one that sweareth falsely shall be cut off, or sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it. So this curse, right, referring to this roll that Zechariah saw, or this chariot here, as he says here, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. Now, this is primarily going to happen, right, when the destruction comes, or when the end comes, when the Lord makes his return. That's when you're going to see the entourage of chariots covering the skies and coming about to deliver and to destroy. Now, as it says here, for every one that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it. And when you go into the word here, cut off, there are, some varied definitions here, but I think the one that makes the most sense here is, it says here, to be empty, be clear, be desolate, right? Because the chariots also have the power or the ability to destroy via the, the energy beams or the laser beams that they can emit. So here, dealing with being cut off, okay, those that, as it says, stealeth shall be cut off on this side. Now, it says stealeth here, it says sweareth here, but this is really just in an overall sense wickedness, right? Those that are committing iniquity or that are being wicked. When the time of this judgment comes, where the Lord brings the chariots and all of those, they're going to be destroyed. Okay, they're going to be made desolate. Now, yeah, even the wicked of our people are guilty of it. The heathen nations are guilty of it. But the primary individual who inhabits this is the nation of Esau, Edom. Okay, they are the primary ones that that are the face of this, of iniquity, of stealing, of swearing falsely, and so on and so forth. So it goes on to say, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it. Now it says sweareth here, but when you actually, when you read the verse and make sense of it, it wouldn't make sense to just be swear, right? It would have to be something along the lines of, because the word here, not stealeth, the word here for swear, I think is shabai, which is an oath, or to take an oath. So taking an oath is not something that will get you destroyed, but things like not keeping an oath to the Most High, or swearing falsely, those are things that are forms of iniquity by which it would make sense to be judged for. Because when you go into this word sweareth, right, shabai, to cause to take an oath, to adjure, you'll see there are some examples here, right, of the use cases of this word. And you can see here in Genesis 21 and 23 and 24, dealing with Abraham, it reads, now therefore swear, there goes that same word, swear, unto me by God, that thou wilt not deal falsely with me, nor with my son, nor with my son's son, but according to the kindness that I have done unto thee, thou shalt do unto me, and to the land wherein thou hast sojourned. And Abraham said, I will swear. See, and that's the same word for swear. So would Abraham be, guilty of getting destroyed by the curse? No. Okay, so with that understanding, we would this here would have to mean, like in the case of swearing falsely, or taking a wicked oath or something along those lines, right? So in a nutshell, Zechariah 5 and 3 here is just saying those that are committing this iniquity, when the time of judgment comes, right, when these chariots make their appearance with the Lord, they're going to be destroyed. And this is primarily going to be applied to Esau, Edom, because he is the chief of this. And as we go on in the fourth verse, it'll expound a bit more. So, and when I say Esau, Edom, I'm referring to the nation, okay, of Esau, Edom. I will bring it forth, saith the Lord of hosts. So Zechariah saw this scroll. He asked what it was. The angel told him, this is the curse that's going to go forth on the face of the whole earth. And in verse 4, the Lord says he's going to bring it forth, and it shall enter into the house of the thief. So who is the ultimate thief? The ultimate thief, when it says the thief, this is highlighting the ultimate thief. For example, the wicked, not a wicked man or some wicked people, but the wicked, meaning who is primarily known for this, and that is the nation of Esau, starting with their top elites in this time. So it shall enter into the house of the thief. As a matter of fact, they stole us, right? When they came to the different parts of the world, primarily the different coasts of Africa, they literally stole people and brought them and sold them into slavery. Okay. It says, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name. See? So in the third verse, it mentioned what? Him that stealeth, right? And everyone that sweareth. And in the fourth verse, it now expounds and mentions this curse going into the house of the thief and him that sweareth falsely by my name. And Esau is also guilty of that, though he doesn't go around using the actual name of Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai, but he uses the reputation or the I think reputation would probably be the best word to use here, that goes with it, to deceive. And so this, and the house that it's going to enter into, when you go into the word house, is bayath, which is like a dwelling or a habitation. The primary house of Esau today is Babylon, aka America. And so when the Lord makes his return, when the chariots make their appearance, there are going to be chariots all around the world doing the different tasks that the Lord has requires of them, but the primary focus or the focal point or place is going to be here in the house of the thief, which is America, where they are going to deliver the elect, but they're also going to destroy this place with fire, along with the nuclear missiles. So as we keep reading, and it shall remain in the midst of his house. So when they make their way here, they're going to stay here and destroy this place, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof. What that means is they're going to destroy it with the foundation. There's going to be nothing left. And when you read, there's even a precept that talks about how the Lord is going to spread the line of confusion upon this place. And that's a way of saying that when the destruction clears, this land is going to be just pretty much like a complete desert, where you can't tell one place from another, or where one location was from the other. Now, another precept for this, right, which I thought about because it mentioned them remaining in the midst of the house, because when they make their appearance, i.e. the curse, what is it going to be to do? To bring judgment. And when we go to the book of Daniel, the 7th chapter, dealing with, I'm just going to go, let me start at 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High. This he is Esau, Edom. Then the saints are the Israelites, and think to change times and laws, which they're doing now, and they shall be given into his hand for a time and times and the dividing of time. But the judgment shall sit. See, so it's going to remain, and they shall take away his dominion to consume and to destroy it unto the end. See, so ultimately that's what's going to happen to this devil's, kingdom. Carrying on, verse 5. So now it switches gear a little, right? It says, then the angel that talked with me went forth and said unto me, lift up now thine eyes and see what is this that goeth forth. So when Zechariah, from the first verse to the 4th verse, when he looked in this direction, this is what he saw. And then the angel that was talking with him moved somewhere else and told him, look over here now. So now he looks in a different direction, and we're about to read what he saw there. Lift up now thine eyes and see what is this that goeth forth. And I said, what is it? And he said, this is an ephah that goeth forth. He said, moreover, this is their resemblance through all the earth. Now, an ephah is a measurement, right? Let me actually pull up the definition on here, but an ephah is a measurement, okay? And in order to measure certain things, sometimes you use a receptacle here, which is a good one, right? So when we look at the word ephah, ayapa, it says here, the receptacle for measuring or holding that amount. Now, when we look up the word receptacle, it's just something to hold something, right? So receptacle, we can do meaning. And you can see here it says a receptacle is an object or space used to contain something. So when you're measuring in terms of an ephah, there would be some like basket or some container of a certain size that would be used to measure that weight or that ephah, as it is said. Like today, when you think of a bottle of water, it's you imagine a vessel, a bottle. When you think of 1 gallon, if somebody says 1 gallon, you have some idea of what that looks like, right? So when they say an ephah, it's a measurement, but it's typically based on some like container that is used to measure that. So if you fill up this container, that is 1 ephah of whatever it is you've put in there. So Zechariah sees this ephah, right? And it says here, this is an ephah that goeth forth. He said, moreover, this is their resemblance through all the earth. So this ephah that you're seeing, this is the appearance of it. And then he's going to go on and expound. Verse 7, and behold, there was lifted up a talent of lead, and this is a woman, that sitteth in the midst of the ephah. So this talent of lead, and I like this, and when you read this in some of the other translations, they make it a bit clearer. As in the talent of lead that was lifted up is more so like the lid of this container, of this ephah, right? So if you read the NKJV, it says, here is a lead disc lifted up, and this is a woman sitting inside the basket. NLT, then the heavy lead cover was lifted off the basket, and there was a woman sitting inside it. Now keep in mind, this is a vision that he is seeing, right? So it's not like there's an actual woman in here, but he's seeing this, and this is going to represent something. So far he sees this ephah, he sees the lid gets lifted up, and there's a woman inside of it. And he said, this is wickedness. And he cast it into the midst of the ephah, and he cast the weight of lead upon the mouth thereof. So basically, he basically said, get your ass back in there. But, you know, like, I'm just messing around. But he basically, you know, kept the lady back the angel basically kept the lady back in the ephah, and then covered the top again with the lid. Now, what I find interesting is how this is a vision, right? And as we just read, this woman in the midst of the ephah represented wickedness. But it's interesting that in the vision, the Lord decided to represent this using a woman, right? Now, when you also go to the book of, see if I can find it, Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, I believe it's 26. Whoa, 26 or 25. Let's see. One second. Okay, let's search the Apocrypha. Yeah, Ecclesiasticus 25 and 24. Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. Okay, and when you even read, I think King Solomon said that, right? Of 1,000 women, he found none, meaning none that were righteous, but of 1,000 men, he found one. So I just found it interesting that in the vision, a woman was used to represent this wickedness here. Nevertheless, continuing on, verse 9, then lifted I up mine eyes, and looked, and behold, there came out 2 women, and the wind was in their wings. So he first sees this ephah, and then the angel opens the top of the ephah, and he sees this woman inside of it. And then the angel says, this is wickedness, and then pushes her back in, and then closes the ephah. And then he turns around and he sees 2 women, and this time they're gliding. They're like, you know, pulling up in the air. When it says the wind was in their wings, number one, they had wings, but number two, they were pretty much like in the air, right? It says, for they had wings like the wings of a stork. And if you don't know what a stork is, stork, bird, and let me see, wings. There you go. So you can see this right here. This is a quick image of a stork, right? So going back to Zechariah chapter 5, so he sees these 2 women pulling up in the air with wings, like the wings of a stork, and they lifted up the ephah between the earth and the heaven. So they took the ephah and they lifted it up. They started flying up with it. Then said I to the angel that talked with me, whither do these bear the ephah? So where are they taking it? And he said unto me, to build it an house in the land of Shinar, and it shall be established and set there upon her own base. Now, basically, with all the things that Zechariah just saw, the meaning is the ephah with the woman in the middle of it represents the wickedness of Israel. The two women represents the two kingdoms, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. Okay, and what he saw with them carrying the ephah was them bearing that iniquity and taking it with them to the land of Shinar, which is Babylon. Okay, and then, like it says in the last verse, establishing it there and basically, continuing in those ways of wickedness. Now, when you look up the word Shinar, it'll tell you that this is Babylon. All right, it says here Shanair, or if I'm saying that right. But it says here, country of two rivers, the ancient name for the territory, later known as Babylonia or Chaldea. Now, the interesting thing about this, all right, because this is referring to the modern day Babylon, okay, not ancient Babylon, meaning it's not in this time when Zechariah saw this vision. It wasn't that they were taking their wickedness with them to ancient Babylon. That wouldn't make sense, right? Because Babylon was already taken down at this time that Zechariah received his vision. That's number one. Number two, the two women, being the two kingdoms, the southern and the northern kingdom, both of them did not go into ancient Babylon, because at the time of the Babylonian captivity, the bulk of the northern kingdom were in the Americas. So they didn't go into the Babylonian captivity with the southern kingdom. Okay. However, both of them did come here to the modern day Babylon, which is America. And here, though we were oppressed here, which I'm going to get a precept on that, guess what? Jake brought their wickedness back here again. So what's an example? Guess what? When you go to, which this is not, exactly in Babylon, but they brought it, those that come from this area that I'm about to mention to America, bring their wickedness with them. So you have certain areas in like Central and South America where you have like Haitians, like the Levites, that will perform like voodoo and dark magic and all these forms of wickedness. But also just generally, Jake here, both Southern and Northern Kingdom, being brought from the East to America, continued in their wickedness. And you see it today. Okay. And as a matter of fact, it's very accurate that it mentioned that they took this wickedness, brought it to the land of Shinar, which is Babylon, and then, as it says here, to build a house to it and to establish it. Because when you look at the level of wickedness that Jake has reached today here in Babylon, it has pretty much exceeded all the level of wickedness that they used to do even in the past. Like Jake is the most wicked here and now than they've ever been. And the last precept I want to get is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, verse 33. And it reads, now this is referring to America, right? Jeremiah 50 is going into a prophecy of the destruction of modern day Babylon. So it reads, thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, the children of Israel, which is referring to the northern kingdom, and the children of Judah, which is referring to the southern kingdom, were oppressed together. And all they that took them captives held them fast, meaning they held them down securely so they couldn't escape. They refused to let them go. So where were we oppressed together? Here in the land of America. Okay. So going back to Zechariah, the 5th chapter, this is pretty much the end of the chapter, and this is the interpretation of the vision that Zechariah received. So, Lord willing, this was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.